Hey YouTube, MST here. Today we got the reveal of the new trailer for the new pack that's coming next Thursday, Eevee Grove. So let's go over it. Let's watch the trailer together, and we're gonna go over every single card and give our honest opinion on it, our first impression, because obviously we don't know what the full set is gonna be like. But they have released a couple of really interesting cards, so I'm excited to go over them with you guys. So let's jump right into it. All right, let's start the trailer here. Here we go. Let me pause the music. And here we go. Eevee Grove. Eevee Grove. The music's a bop. The music is an absolute bop. Got the Flareon EX. We got Espeon, Umbreon, a couple reprints, and Sylveon EX. New supporters. Eevee Grove. Eevee Grove, ladies and gentlemen. So, as you can see there, the theme is obvious, right? Evolutions, and they're giving us new evolutions that haven't been released in Pocket before. They're giving us Umbreon and they're giving us Sylveon as the new evolution. So super excited for those. Now that we watched the trailer, I actually pulled up all the new cards here. We have all the new cards on Pokeo. So let's go over them. Give me a sec. Boom. All right. Let's start with the obvious way to start, right? Eevee EX. Eevee EX. A new Eevee, right? How many Eevees do we have by now, right? We have like seven or eight like Eevee reprints. Well, you know, if you weren't happy enough with those, they're giving you an EX version, 90 HP. 1 energy to do bite, obviously the same psychic fighting weakness as every other Eevee. But here's the thing, all right? VV Evolve. So basically what this card says, this Pokemon can evolve into any Pokemon that evolves from Eevee if you play it from your hand onto this Pokemon. So it's kind of like what does this mean? Well, since it's an Eevee EX, right? Normally EX cards, right, don't evolve into other cards, right? Usually the EX is this final stage evolution. Well, this Eevee can evolve into any evolution, be it EX or not, right? So you have Vaporeon, Flareon, Jolteon, you have Glaceon that has both the EX and the non-EX version, Leafeon that has both the EX, non-EX version. So basically this Eevee can go from a 2-pointer to a 1-pointer if needed. And you're asking, but wait a minute, we already had like Eevee cards before. What's the point of giving us an EX? Like, sure, it has 30 more HP. It deals 10 more damage than the average, damage for 1 energy. Well, because you have this Eevee EX, now you can play 4 Eevees in your deck. Because the non-EX Eevees, they all share the same name, right? They all share the same name, so you can only add 2 in your deck. But with Eevee EX, you can now have 4 Eevees, up to 4 Eevees in your deck, to be able to have 4 evolutions on the board if needed, right? So yeah, that's the whole gimmick of it. Obviously, it's like slightly better than the non-EX version. It does give 2 points, so you have to be super careful not to lose it before evolving it, because giving away 2 points on a 90 HP Pokemon is kind of costly. So yeah. Does it act like rare candy? Not really. Not really. All the evolutions are stage 1s anyways, right? All the evolutions are stage 1s anyways. So you can just drop it on top of this when needed. Do you need 4 Eevee? That's the question, right? That's the question. I think like depending on what deck you're running, 2 to 3 might be sufficient, right? But if you're trying to have an evolution only deck, right, then maybe you can run up to 4 for sure. Yeah. All right, let's jump in to the evolutions right away. Okay, they gave us a new Leafeon, right? So if you guys remember, the old Leafeon was kind of like Timu Buzzwole, right? It was like you could attack and then you couldn't attack the next turn. You had to like do some fossil swapping or something like that. So the new Leafeon, 9 HP, same as the old one. Leaf Blast. This attack does 20 more damage for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. Fire weakness, of course, and 1 retreat cost. Okay, super interesting. I've seen a couple people, yeah, talk about how this pairs with Leafeon EX, right? How it pairs with Superior. Superior being a stage 2, Superior can benefit from rare candy. However, it does only have 90 HP and 20 damage for each like leaf energy. How much would you need to get up to 140, right? So you would need 7 energies to get up to 150, and let's say 6 energies to get up to 130. That's a lot of energies. And that's a lot of energy to invest in something that only has 90 HP. But I think it's an interesting card. It does have some interesting pairings. I think it's gonna make great content, right? The Superior Leafeon deck is gonna be great content. Is it gonna be a competitive deck? I'm not certain, okay? But let's not judge the book by its cover, and let's just wait to get the card and play with it and see how that goes. But like first impression, it's decent, but I don't know, it might be a bit too squishy. All right, next up, Flareon EX. So this is a super interesting card. I don't remember what the non-EX Flareon does, but I think it does have a discard mechanic as well. All right, Flareon EX, 150 HP, Fire Spin for 3, 130 damage, so 10 more than Arcanine, which people are comparing this with. The effect is discard 2 energy from this Pokemon, which does seem costly, but you have to read its ability to understand how this works. So once during your turn, you may attach a fire energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. It doesn't have to be in the active. You can have this on your bench, charging energy. However, for each energy that you attach by using the ability, you have to deal 20 damage to this card. So I mean, you could choose not to use Combust, right? You can also manually load the Flareon if you need to. But it does have the Combust does have a drawback. It's kind of like a Giratina, but that does its damage. It's a stage 1 Giratina that does damage to itself when it ramps instead of when it attacks. The Fire Spin, it's decent damage. Considering, the Eevee bag that we're going to, that's a new supporter card that we're going to look over. It does clear a Buzzwole in 1 because of the weakness. It deals 150 to Solgaleo. The damage is decent. The drawback, this card 2 energy from this Pokemon, it seems steep, but you have to consider that you can re-add the energy right back with Combust and then manually add the energy the turn after to be able to attack every single turn. So you can still attack with this every single turn. You just have to use the ability, take 20 damage, and then manually attach and then attack. So yeah, I think it's better than Arcanine for sure. All right, I think it's better than Arcanine, like 100%. The 10 damage extra seems like not a lot, but it can come in pretty clutch. Like if you think about revenge killing a Giratina, for example, right? Especially since you can increase it with Geo Red and the new Eevee bag. So yeah, and it is a pretty bulky card as well. Like 150 HP as its starting HP is decent, but you're right that like if you use Combust like 2 or 3 times, it does become a problem for sure. So yeah, I think this card will be playable. How are people gonna match it? Like, pair it with maybe like Turtonator, Ninetales discards energy. Turtonator, I think Turtonator might be better than Ninetales, but you guys get the idea, something that discards energy so that you can combust the same turn that you're attacking with your active, right? So Turtonator and Ninetales are like the obvious pairings. So yeah, Super. I'm excited to play it. An Infernape, great call. Infernape, yeah. Infernape discards off itself, and then you can you can combust the energy back onto Flareon as well. So I honestly like I think this card will be playable. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the best deck in the meta, but I think there's definitely a way to cook with this for sure. And I think it might be a little bit better than people think, right? Like on like when people saw Giratina, you know, every single card that has self-ramping energy, right, is has to be like decent, right? Just because like self-ramping energy in Pocket is just so good, so useful that you have to, like not judge it too quickly because usually self-ramping cards are just, either decent to really good. So so yeah, let's wait and see. I'm excited to play with it. It does counter Buzzwole because it's able to one-shot it. Not if Buzzwole has a Leaf Cape, but maybe that's what the red or something else could be. But interesting card for sure. I'm excited to play it. I love that we're getting a new Flareon. Like the art is also amazing. So, all right, let's move on. Another Vaporeon. How many Vaporeons? We have 3 Vaporeons now. One from GA, one from Mythical Island that moves energy around, and then we have this one, 120 HP, Hyper Whirlpool, 70 damage. Flip a coin until you get. It's the Guzzlord. It's the grind core effect. For each heads, discard a random energy. I don't know. I feel like 3 energy is a bit steep. It does have Misty support, but I feel like 70 damage is just not enough for it as well. But yeah, it's an alright card. Yeah, 3 energy seems like a lot though for sure. All right, let's move on. Yeah, not too impressed. Not the worst, but not quite impressed with it. Glaceon. Okay, so we have 2 Glaceons, non-EX Glaceons. Ice Blade. This attack does 50 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Okay, so you can hit the bench with this. You can choose to hit the bench with this. 100 HP seems a little bit on the low side. It gets cleared in one by a Silvally, which is kind of bad, all things considered. Just by how prevalent Silvally is in this meta. If you look back, so does Leafeon gets cleared in one by Silvally. Glaceon gets cleared in one. Vaporeon is a little bit tanky, but yeah, it does snipe a fossil for sure. It does snipe a fossil, but you need 2 energies on it. And once you lose it, if you have no way to ramp energy, once you lose this card, if you have no way to make up for the energy deficit, you might be in trouble. But yeah, I mean, it's decent, but I think the meta has evolved to being much quicker than these type of cards, right? So, and yeah. Okay, Jolteon, 90 HP. Again, it has the Silvally issue, right? Beginning Bolt, 40 plus. If this Pokemon evolved during this turn, this attack does 20 more damage. All right, so basically, you start with Eevee, and then you evolve it. If you're going first, and then you hit for 60, you can clear a lot of basics with this. You can actually cheese a really early point onto like a Cosmog, onto a Kartana, right? There's a couple of things that you can nab really quickly with this. So I feel like out of the non-EX evolutions that we've seen thus far, this might be the best one. But yeah, however, like you do have to, it's a stage 1. It's a stage 1. So in an electric deck, right? So that means we only have like one choice, right? You can play this, and then maybe you have to pair it with something else, or maybe with the other Jolteon that flips coins, right? But interesting card for sure. Interesting card for sure. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, if this was a basic, it would be stupid strong. Stupid strong if this was a basic, but yeah. All right, next up, Espeon, 100 HP, Energy Crush. Okay, so right, once again, it does have the same issue of getting cleared by a Silvally, but let's just look into it. Energy Crush, 20 times. This attack does 20 damage for each energy attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. All your opponent's Pokemon. So let's say you're going against a Dark Tina, right? So you're dealing 2 times. Let's say turn 1, you're dealing 40. Turn 2, you're dealing 80, and by the time they have 3/3, you're dealing 120, right? 6 times 20. I don't know, man. I feel like 100. I mean, it's a great card. 160. That 160 is for 4/4, right? 160 is when your opponent has 4 energies on each, right? Yeah. Here's the thing. If this was like a basic that you could drop out of your hand and use it in the same turn, that'd be crazy, right? That'd be absolutely like bananas, right? The surprise effect would be crazy. However, it's still a stage 1. But you can pair this. You can pair Espeon with Sylveon that we're gonna see later, right? So you have to both Sylveon and Espeon are psychic types. So you can use mono psychic energy to run this deck, and you use you have both the EX Eevee and the non-EX Eevee. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I think it's an interesting card. It does suffer from the fact that it has 100 HP, and it's just gonna get eaten up by a Silvally. And I feel like the damage just isn't enough. Like 120 for 3/3. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm not, and then it dies the turn after, right? So yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think it's certainly better. It's certainly better than like let's say Vaporeon for sure. It's better than Glaceon. I think the real interesting part is being able to pair it with Sylveon, but. Yeah, we'll see, guys. We'll have to see. Let's keep going here. We have okay, let's finish the evolutions first, and then we're gonna go over the other cards that were revealed. Umbreon. Okay, here's the evolution that everybody was waiting for. All right, everybody was waiting for this evolution. It's the favorite evolution for a lot of people. All right. So they're giving us a non-EX version, but my hunch is that we will absolutely get an EX version. If they don't give us an EX version this pack, there will be riots in this pack. There will be riots in the streets. There will be cars on fire. All right, there will be civil unrest if we don't get an Umbreon EX. All right, I feel it in my guts. All right, so they have to give this to us. All right, or you guys know what to do. All right, so Umbreon, 100 HP again. It's crazy how much a 10 HP difference would make, right? Between 100 and 110. It's just crazy how much like a 10 HP difference would make. But once again, 100 HP. The Dark Binding 40. It is a 1 energy attack. However, it's still a stage 1, right? If the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it can't attack during your opponent's next turn. I mean, all right. Like, this doesn't do anything against Celesteela, right? It could do something against a Darkrai Giratina deck if they don't have the Leaf, right? They would be forced to swap out and hard discard. But and once again, the Grass weakness in a Buzzwole meta. The Grass weakness in a Buzzwole meta does seem kind of painful. So, yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm not too excited about this one. I think they're gonna give us an Umbreon EX. And I think Umbreon EX is going to be absolutely bonkers, all right? Because so far, they haven't given us, like, a bad poster boy, right? We have Charizard, right? That's, like, highly meta. We have 2 versions of Pikachu, right? Pikachu EX and Genetic Apex was a menace. And even the new Pikachu is still decent, right? So far, they haven't given us, like, a bad poster boy. So I don't think they're going to, like, give us a bad Umbreon EX. I just don't see it. I just do not see it. All right. Next up. Okay. We have the last one and probably the most interesting one thus far. Sylveon EX. Sylveon EX, 140 HP. Psychic type. It deals 70 damage for 2 energy, 1 retreat cost, steel weakness. It gets one shot by Solgaleo. So that's something to keep in mind. It does get one shot by Solgaleo. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may draw 2 cards. All right. So yeah. So here's what's really interesting about this. Okay. Professor Oak has the downside of you not being able to use the supporter cards that you drew from Professor Oak the same turn, right? This doesn't have that. This doesn't have that limitation, right? So you can literally, you know, top deck this and then top deck like the Cyrus or the Sabrina or the Lusamine or whatever you need to win the game, right? You can literally mill if you top deck this and then you top deck the Professor, you can literally mill 4 cards like in one turn to find your game-winning card, you know, if it's a tool or a Pokemon or whatever. I think it's going to be the real skill of using Sylveon is like knowing what to pair it with, right? I do think like putting Sylveon in the Solgaleo deck might work quite well instead of Shiinotic. It might be a better option. What else? Does it have any like really good psychic cards to pair with? Or do you have to play this in like a non-psychic deck is the question, right? Yeah. And there's nothing like the Sylveon Gardevoir EX and Mewtwo EX. Absolutely. I can see it. Yeah, actually. Sylveon could help you find the candy that you need for Gardevoir. And then you're basically going to draw through your deck extremely quickly. But you do have to play one Gardevoir line, one Eevee line, one Mewtwo line. So yeah. But yeah. Togekiss pairing? Yes. I could definitely see the Togekiss pairing. Yes, Togekiss could help. I mean, Sylveon could help you find the Cynthia that you need, right? You can drop Sylveon and then use its ability to draw candy for your Togekiss and then use the Cynthia that you drew from Sylveon in the same turn. So yeah. Very interesting. Okay, let's finish the Pokemon and then we're gonna do the trainer cards. Okay, Swirlix. Alright, 60 HP, Sweets Relay. If you use Sweets Relay last turn, you get 20 more damage, so 30. But what's really cute is that there's Milcerny that has the same ability for 50 HP. And then you have Alcremie, which is the finisher here, right? 80 HP, Sweets Overload. 40 damage for each time this Pokemon uses 40 damage for this Pokemon each time your Pokemon uses Sweets Relay during this game. So honestly, I feel like this could be really this could be a really fun deck, right? I don't think. I mean, it's a meme deck, but at the same time, it ramps, right? Like, so let's say you use how many times, right? Let's say you used Sweets Relay 3 times, you deal 120, right? And then you say the Alcremie dies, and then you have a second Alcremie. But here's my issue. Yeah, here's my issue. The Sweets Overload doesn't count as a Sweets Relay. Yeah, so that's kind of a bummer. It should have. I feel like Sweets Overload should have included Sweets Relay. Sweets Overload should have included itself into the number of times that you use the ability to like ramp the damage. But yeah, I don't know. Super. Yeah, go first. Cry kind of. Yeah, super. Yeah, it does have really low HP, but I like the concept. I feel like this is the first card that has like incremental permanent damage, right? Like you guys remember when Cyclozar came out, and then everybody was like, wait, does this thing like ramp damage infinitely? And then we all got bummed out because it stopped at 40, right? Well, this is like the first card that actually ramps damage for like, you know, like for the entire game, right? It is like a Lake Trio style deck for sure, for sure. And I like it. Honestly, I like that they're giving us cards like this, right? I feel like it's a super cool concept, super fun concept. So yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be at least playable. I don't think you're gonna win any tournaments with this, but I do feel it's gonna be at least playable, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah. Okay, now we have we did all the Pokemon, so let's do the trainers. All right, let's do the trainers now. Eevee Bag. Okay, it's an item card. During this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon that evolve from Eevee do +10 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And then the other option is heal 20. I feel like 20 is a little bit underwhelming, but yeah. But the +10 is definitely good. The +10 as an item is definitely good, right? It's not a supporter. You can stack this with like a Sabrina. You can stack this with a Geo or a Red to get even more damage. You can stack this with a Cyrus, right? So the item aspect of it is great. I feel like the +10 is actually pretty cool. I'm not sure about the heal 20. I feel like heal 20 is a bit low, but you're right. It's like a potion. It's like a potion, and you have the option, right? It's like a potion, and you have the option to like use it as a beast type, right, rather than a Geo. But yeah. Anyways, I think it's a great support card. I think it's gonna be really good for Flareon. I feel like this card is like specifically made for Flareon, and it's gonna be good for the other evolutions in general, because of it's an item card and because of the ability to choose one or the other. Yeah, it's better than Beast Tide because exactly, it doesn't have like the limiting conditions that Beast Tide does. Yeah, so super cool, and it has so many targets. You can literally use this on any Eevee and on any evolution, right? So you have so many targets for this that you can pair up with. So super excited. I think this is a great card. Not so great card, I think, is Penny. All right. So obviously, like if you read this really quickly, right, and you read that you can target the supporter, you're like, wow, I can get like 4 Professor's Research. Nah, here's the thing. Look at a random supporter card that's not Penny from your opponent's deck and shuffle it back into their deck. Use the effect of that card as the effect of this card. But like, let's say you're playing against a Buzzwole deck. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna get a Lusamine and you're not playing Buzzwole. So then what, right? Or you're gonna get a Cyrus and there's nothing that has damage on it. Or you're gonna get a Sabrina when you don't want to get a Sabrina. You know, sometimes Sabrina helps your opponent. So imagine you get a Sabrina with this and you don't want to Sabrina the active, right? So yeah. It might be better than Looker. I feel like it's like Looker plus, right? It's like Looker 2.0, but it's still not a great card. So yep. All right, have we gone over the entire thing we have? So once again, this pack comes out next Thursday on the 26th. So I'm super excited for it. Look out for Umbreon EX. I'm getting your hopes up, but I'm not certain, but I have a good feeling they're going to give us Umbreon EX. And I feel like Umbreon EX is going to be a great card. They only released 2 EXs, and usually they give us 5 per mini expansion. Oh, sorry, wait. No, they've released 3 EXs. My bad. They've released 3 EXs, and they usually give us 5 per mini expansion, unless they go the Shining Revelry route and give us like 10 or 9 or whatever. But I expect at least 2 more EXs, and I expect one of them to be Umbreon. All right, and if it doesn't happen, we riot. All right, that's the game plan. Yeah, honestly, like overall, I'm excited for this. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, I'm fairly excited. I'm excited to get new evolutions. I feel like Sylveon and Umbreon were fan favorites, so everybody's gonna enjoy this one. Do I think that these cards look completely busted? I don't think so. I don't think so. Flareon has clear drawbacks, right? The Eevee is just so that you can play more Eevees, right? Sylveon is definitely good. Sylveon is definitely a good card. But really the key is like finding like the perfect pairing for it, you know? The key is like finding the perfect pairing for it. I feel like Sylveon has is, you know, like I underestimated Shiinotic by a lot, you know? I underestimated Shiinotic by a lot, and then it came back and it showed us its strength. So I'm not gonna do the same with Sylveon. I think being able to draw 2 cards and use a supporter that you draw is absolutely bananas. But it does have the drawback of you having to run Psychic Energy if you want to attack with it. So you either have to run Mono Psychic or Dual Energy if you ever want to attack with it. But maybe you just don't, you know? Maybe you just never want to attack with it. Like, you don't see people attacking with Shiinotic often, but at least Shiinotic has the option. It's 2 colorless, right? Umbreon EX will be busted. I can almost guarantee it. I can almost guarantee it. Yeah. We haven't seen it yet, but I can almost guarantee that Umbreon EX is gonna get the poster child treatment. All right, he's gonna get the poster child treatment. He's gonna be like a meta card for like the next 3 packs or some shit. All right. Yeah. And for sure he gets like I think Umbreon's either gonna get an immersive or a rainbow for sure. Hopefully, even though this Sylveon 2-star looks really good. Sylveon 2-star looks really good. So I think the best cards that were revealed were by far Sylveon and Eevee Bag, right? By far the best cards. Flareon, do I think Flareon's going to be good with... somebody put us a question. I think Flareon is going to be good with Infernape and Dawn. That's not a bad idea. That's not... Oh, that's... Ooh. Oh, yeah. That's actually a thing. So you could double attack... You could double attack with Infernape. Yeah, you can go in with Infernape, discard 2, and then you combust, and then you dawn onto the Infernape and do it again. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Yeah. Spicy for sure. And Infernape clears Buzzwole if it doesn't have a Leaf Cape. Yeah, interesting. It doesn't clear Solgaleo though, right? It doesn't clear Solgaleo. It leaves it at 10 HP, right? After it attacks, it's 170 and then drops down 160 with helmet. Yeah. You need to use helmets. Yes, that's true. If you have to drop a helmet on the Infernape. Seems like Zard with extra steps a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, is it? Yeah. Because you do have to run Eevee, Flareon, Dawn, Infernape line, candies, you know, a bunch of things. But yeah, maybe. I'll definitely try it. Yeah. Oricorio is going to be an issue though, right? Like, let's say you play Infernape. How do you kill Oricorios? That's true. How do you kill Oricorios? Because you probably won't have room in your deck for anything other than both Infernape lines and put in normal Flareon. That's a good take. What does normal Flareon look like? Oh yeah, that works. But you have to load energy manually on it. Like, this one doesn't ramp itself. Yeah, this one doesn't ramp itself. So you have to like load 3 on it manually if you want to clear the thingy, the Ori. Yeah. Blacephalon and Lucamine. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm excited to try it. Like I said, like I think Flareon is playable. I think it's playable. It's not one of those EXs that like is dead on release, right? I think this is definitely playable, right? It's not like the Probopasses or the Alolan and Doug trio or Bibarel EX, right? Like it's not one of those, all right? It's not one of those. It's definitely playable. but how good is it? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So yeah, best cards by far, Eevee Bag and Sylveon though. So far, so far.